Do-do-do-do-do-do. What up, Do-do-do, do-do-do. Yeah. All right, Raven. All right. Sweet. Mm. Da-na-na, da-na-na. Right. Hello, everyone. This is Rap Raven, your host for today's show. Let me actually get my notes up if I can find it. Don't forget to tell a friend we're live in the place to be. Where is it? There you can see. Ah, yes. Goody. There it is. Ah, magic. Hello, this is the Betterment Broadcast. This is the 190th show. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. So 190 attempts at synchronizing with Black people to form solutions for Black challenges. Isn't that great? Using a medium of YouTube, the interweb, or whatever. Oh, yeah. So don't forget to follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram page. We're going to do a new campaign soon, the Black Economics campaign, which you guys will be helping us form. So don't forget to follow that. I'll put that in the copy and paste just because we can. And also, there it is. Let me copy and paste. Don't be a sloppy waste. Can everybody's case, blah, blah, blah. Good. So let's start. We always start. So, do you know about the triple tragedies? Let's break it down. So, white supremacy, anti-Black racism, and the Ma'afa, these three tragedies, these triple tragedies, has contributed to what we know as the double dilemma, which is, unfortunately, one, Black people can be individually efficient but are collectively inadequate. Oh dear. And number two, Black people may know a friendly non-Black person. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. This is what we call the double dilemma. So, as you know, if there's a double dilemma, there has to be a single solution, which is Black betterment, a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. So this broadcast specializes in promoting the lifestyle, the single solution of Black betterment, you see. And that's Black people continuously helping Black people whenever it's constructively possible. All right. You know, we have two types of Black betterment, the Black betterer and the Black betterment builder. And we might unpack some of that today, or we might not. And don't forget the triple triumph is which we focus on. These are the three areas in Black betterment that we're trying to improve because they're the ones that I would say need the most work. One is Black families, Black economics, and Black health. That's right. So these are the areas, and when we go through our intro videos and stuff, and we do our algorithm runs and all that good stuff, where we look at videos and review them. Usually, they're more than likely connected to one of these three, without question. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, take a give. Right, okay, ignore that. Wait, where's this? Oh, are you messing? There we go. So we're gonna throw a link out. So don't forget to we're gonna practice the 4D values when the link goes out. That's discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Don't forget that. That's very important. Good stuff. So when we throw the link out, like, people usually jump on at some point. They always want to jump on. But don't forget to practice these three values, the D4 values, sorry, the 4D values. Discipline, dedication, discernment, and dignity. And don't forget to take these wherever you go in the world. It will make talking to Black people easier. If you don't know, now you know. Please just not use any kind of derogatory language today. Just use descriptive languages. It makes unifying and solidarity easier. All right. So today's topics. So unfortunately, those of you aware, there was don't know much about the background of the individual, but there was a Brazilian Spanish-speaking person in England, somewhere in London, ran around trying to kill people with a knife, a sword. He was jumping on cars, and unfortunately, everyone he attacked, he managed to kill a young Nigerian British based child, 14 years old, I believe, named Daniel Anjorin. That's very unfortunate. And it's been on the news. I haven't really been able to catch most of it, but I have seen some stuff, and I've done loads of stuff for us to really unpack. But we discussed the sad murder of Daniel Anjorin and how the media are reporting it. Did I actually get? I did download some imagery, but I didn't put it in my PDF. So, but I've got some videos. So yeah, some issues there with obviously the murder itself, which is terrible. But then once again, we also look at it from a black veteran standpoint and seeing how the media are covering it versus other stuff. It's never too good. And then also the anti-black woman algorithm. We discussed the challenges of black men promoting love for black women on Instagram. Yeah, it's mostly my own peeve hate area. I've been blocked so many times on Instagram, and every time it's literally, doing something constructive for black women. Saying, promoting black relationships and black men picking black women. And yeah, there's some kind of algorithm that automatically gets me barred or blocked. So obviously, everything else seems to be able to stay there, but this concept. So if you black women were always wondering what's the challenges with black men trying to show support and love for black women. Unfortunately, there is algorithms out there that make certain words. So one of the solutions would be, how do we promote black love? I'm gonna have to use anti-algorithmic words, really. So we have to come up with words. So can't use black. I don't think you can use African. I don't know. Maybe our, these words you have to use. We love our women. I don't know. You might block that. It's almost embarrassing, really, of what's happening. But if you wanted to promote some kind of degradation towards black people, you can do it to your heart's content. There's no blocks. This is something we've seen historically with music as well. You can mock black people in your music, but you just can't mock other people groups. So it's never good, never good. But don't forget if you're coming in live now, don't forget to press like and tell a friend to join. That'll be always good. And we're gonna have some guests jump on today. So what we're gonna do, as we always do normally, we're gonna go through random videos that come out of the room, and we're gonna give you the black Batman perspective on these. So let me look at my folder, and then after that, then we'll start the actual show. So let's see what we have. So let me check my actual the actual videos. Let's see what's this one. So no, we'll check that one out. That's for the thing. Oh, so this is very nice. It's good to see the sister soldier. This was good.
Be powerful. I didn't consider Marion Barry to be powerful. I don't even consider the black woman who's here to be powerful. Tom Bradley, the guy in Los Angeles, I consider him to be pitiful, not powerful.
Who is powerful?
Powerful is when you can deliver resources, services, and substances to your people and not compromise. The only black people who can become mayors of these cities are people who compromise with the white power system and deliver the resources to other places other than our community in Los Angeles. And I think the reason why we wouldn't be sitting here if they would have delivered the right verdict is because white people wouldn't have been hurt, white property wouldn't have been damaged, and America wouldn't have lost to the tune of $500 million. In terms of solutions, however, for young people, I see it as black people having to put pressure on the system, continued.
It's quite short there. That was Sister Soldier talking about power, pitiful, and power and that kind of stuff. Let's just go back to that a little bit. Oh, someone's trying to mention resources. Let's see. One more time, because it's very important.
Not power.
Who is powerful?
Power to him to be pitiful, not powerful.
Who is powerful?
Powerful is when you can deliver resources, services, and substances to your people and not compromise. The only black people who can become mayors of these cities are people who compromise with the white power system and deliver the resources to other places other than our community.
Big up to the soldier there. Very important sister. She did a lot of work back in the, I want to say early 90s, late 80s. Yeah, she was quite well known then. Saw on a lot of shows. Big up her. What's this? Oh, this was an interesting thing I saw. What's this one? This one. This is in America. This is, I believe, it's a I think it's American football he's been signed to or something like that. I don't know.
New York Jets. Yeah!
Jets is American football. So what we're seeing is the mum and the family loving, but I think people were making like, oh, there's a European woman, probably his girlfriend, and the mother did the right thing by combo breaking her. Because what tends to happen is, very young brothers make a lot of money. Whatever they find European wives very early, and the European wives know how to maneuver themselves to have the money and this kind of stuff. Very good strategy they have. But what they do is they end up, take pictures of them very early on, and they might break up. So it's like, this is like a memorable moment in the brother's life. It's best to have his family there. So the mother was very good at blocking people from trying to get next to the son. Yeah, that was circulating. People were talking about it. Well, but it's more so from Black Bem standpoint. We see quite a lot of that though. Young brothers, getting married early to non-black women, resources. I saw this was very shocking as well. This was I don't know if this woman is pranking or she's actually doing drugs in her class, but if that's the case, it's definitely something to watch out for, especially if it's becoming a trend. I hope not.
Y'all don't know what the plan is. It's like a slow bitch there like this. Like, you never been slow.
Yeah, we'll see if we can follow up on that. I don't know if that's a joke or that's a serious thing. If it is, that's a major issue if you have young children doing drugs, hard drugs, or anything in class. So, yeah, saw that. Don't know what that was about. I'll have to follow that up. This was very inspirational. Saw this.
Asking questions about what the British Empire meant for me, how my grandparents, God rest their souls,
This is a rapper, performer. He's talking about the Empire of Britain
would feel about
accepting the CB, MB, and LB. He's still got the Empire awards.
me having that word at the end of my name. I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm being used to whitewash the story of empire, and I'm not going for it. Back at the time when I turned down the honor, I was respectful of everyone else's preference. But now I will say that I think people from the global south, formerly colonized peoples, and many people from Britain as well, whose ancestors were ripped away from the land that was once commonly owned, you don't need to interrogate what the British Empire really is and stop allowing them to use you to whitewash the empire.
That's George the Poet. George the Poet. I'm just making sure I'm getting him right. I found, George the Poet. I actually got him mixed up with someone else just a second ago. Shame on me. But that's George the Poet. He's a poet. His name's George. I think he might be from East Africa, maybe Uganda. Could be wrong. What was good is I googled him, and I came up with pictures of him. He's got East African wife, I think Uganda or Kenya or something like that. So big up him. George, but it's an African spoken word. In fact, I used to host shows, and I think he was in some shows just back in the day. So he's been there. I'm pretty sure I used to host a lot of shows back in the olden days, and I'm sure he was in a few of them. Now, my memory is very bad because I used to do a lot of things as a youngin. But yeah, like very talented individual. But yeah, good to see the man's got his head screwed on. Very, very important. So big up that brother there, and hopefully others can learn from that. Also big up Ben Zephaniah, rest in peace. He passed away this year, maybe last year. It seems so long. He also turned down the OBE. I think it was OBE, and I was fortunate enough to be in a documentary about it. So I was very, he was a good brother, that brother. And I did a lot of work with him once again back in the olden days. All right, where were we? Big up Black Bem to Empress Kushti. She has asked a very important question today that we shall unravel about how to promote the page on Instagram. It's got some techniques we're going to go over. Now let's go on. Let's just carry on looking. Let's see whatever we can come across. Georgia Poet, Dear Black. What's Dear Black? What's that? Oh yeah, that's very odd. This very odd. So let me give you so this came on my timeline. And I maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the vibe I'm getting. Maybe it's the way this individual has done this video where his face is in it and it looks very. I don't know. I just say words and then you put things into people's heads. It's not really there, but this seems a bit weirdish. But anyway, I think this individual is trying to motivate black men, and I listened to it and I thought, okay, let me do a Black Betterment thing on it.
About a lot.
Big up Only Salsa as well. Black Betterment, big up everyone.
A black man growing up in this world. Your history has told you nothing. Every day on the news, you're seeing a new black man die. You find out that the medical industry is against you. You find out that you're from a nation that actually gives the world more, but you have been conditioned to believe it doesn't. You're made to be treated and viewed by media and even by the corn industry is nothing but blood, sweat, and cock. And you're used for that. Believe me, I've been in a room full of men and women. That seems to be the only thing they seem to think. You know what the saddest thing is? That throughout my life, men that have made Saad who Saad is, black men. I've never had any beef or problem with black people. Never will. And I ain't saying black people at the bottom. No way. But I'm saying we don't give them the credit they deserve. I love my culture. I love my religion. But who made me? Me? No. Black people. If it wasn't, if I never came across Muhammad Ali, I wouldn't be as confident as I am. I wouldn't be as intelligent as I am if I didn't come across Malcolm X. Wouldn't be reading the books that I did. Learning the history, I learned about the Persian Empire. We always talk about angels, that they look white. Trust me, my angel was black and beautiful.
I'm sure. Now, yeah, so we always have to have a black belt respect on this kind of stuff. Now, the unsynchronized, untrained black person, they'll see these kinds of videos, you know, a non-black person, you know, minor chord music playing and you know, headshots, weary-eyed, whatever. Everything they say, you know, you're black people, you're nice, you're good. And then, you know, you go and you buy their books, you go and, you know, you follow them and you know, and this is the thing, the issue is, first of all, I don't know what's in this man's heart. It doesn't really matter, but it's more so protocol. But the way I would say, the questions I would ask in the comments, rather than thank you, brother, what's your link and this kind of stuff, more so like, well, do you tell your family and friends not to mistreat black people? Can you let us know when your community is trying to destroy black people and maybe it's sabotage economics? You know, this kind of stuff. If you can ask those kind of questions, it usually changes the tone very quickly, because unfortunately, black people, if you don't know now, you know that one of the skills that we collectively do really well is subservience. So you have to have a protocol to break that. So these kind of dewy-eyed, soft videos that you see from non-black people, it has that effect. And well, it's just like, I think Frances Chris Wilson said it very best. I always bring it up, but you know, like the work she does, there's European people with less skill who get 8 times more than her. This is before she passed, and that's because of this. So because black people are always looking to hear truth from non-black people rather than from black people. And a lot of people use black people's pain and you're the best, you're the king, whatever, to get clicks and views. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but either or, protocol means we don't even care. So that's just so I saw my timeline. You know, yeah, just give you youngins out there the black bear perspective, because usually when I go amongst many different, yes, young in age, but also young in black bear and wisdom, whatever. You know, a lot of people, they always talk about other people groups and integration, this kind of stuff. Not a good idea. Let's focus on black people because we're collecting the anecdote. There you go. What else did I see? This is, I'll use that for my one. Oh, this was interesting. This was a follow-up to last week's debauchery story.
Videos of the supermarket's blatant racism against local Nigerians went viral. The West African nation's consumer protection watchdog closed down the Chinese store. Officials of Nigeria's Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission locked down the Chinese supermarket until further notice. They also summoned the store's owner for investigation. It all started earlier this week. A group of Nigerians went to the Chinese Chamber of Commerce to shop from its supermarket. They were all stopped at the entrance by guards who said that people of only Chinese descent were allowed inside. And then the outcry began. Chinese racism came into spotlight even before the COVID-19 pandemic. Africans who were living in China became victims of Chinese racism repeatedly. Over the years, reports of Africans being treated unfairly by the Chinese have become far too frequent. China's presence in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, remains massive. There are at least 10,000 Chinese living in Nigeria. And Beijing is credited for opening major ports and infrastructure projects in Abuja. However, China has openly engaged in arm twisting and discrimination against locals. And the most recent example is of the Chinese supermarket. As calls for boycott grow in Nigeria, it looks like Chinese racism has become a setback for Beijing's relations with Africa.
Yeah, so it's a follow-up to, you know, people from China mistreating Africans in Africa. I had a video I couldn't find. I think there was Chinese people having some kind of like military shoe factory in Ethiopia, and they have all the women and they're really shouting at them. Something like that. It was never good. And then there was one I saw of some Asian man beating two black men. I don't know what that was about or the context. I won't play it here, but yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Something to be aware of. Remember, collectively, black people have no friends. Very important to remember that. All right, where are we? Let's see. Again, Rat Raven, do you see the hotel the locals burnt to the ground in Jamaica? Same reasons. Oh, did they? Well, I'll cover that. I didn't know about that. Is that Jamaicans? They'll practice race on Jamaican. They burnt the hotel down, or give me the context of that. But yeah, definitely look that one up. Yeah, I think so. You're going to definitely get pushback. You can't go to a nation and who let you in and then practice racism. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Yeah. What's this one? This is a nice little message.
This $11 billion a year.
This is America.
Say that again.
The Black Church raises $11 billion in tithes and offering a year. If you put all of those black churches together, they wouldn't make a Fortune 100 company. The smallest Fortune 100 company has revenues of $44 billion.
Don't forget to push like. Don't know why, but I'm sure it's a good idea.
That's Qualcomm. The largest Fortune 100 company is Walmart. It has revenues of $611 billion, which means that all of these black churches and all of these black preachers and all of these denominations don't make a single strong American corporation. So the challenge of African American people together, as you've heard me say, the challenge is not necessarily political, it's internal unity and our ability to work together toward a meaningful outcome. So you're absolutely right. If the church isn't involved in economic impact, economic engagement, that it actually will cease to exist in the near future.
There you go. Just a little warning there. Very important, very important message. What else we got? This was hold on. Oh, this was something I saw. I thought it was interesting as well. This just demonstrates that black people have no friends, but it's more so black women in the sense of just when you unite with when you unite with European women or just women in general who are not black. Remember that they default because of the way they've been brought up. Their default will never think of you. So let's say this woman, she's some film aside, she's French aside, but let's see what she says. Let's see if she's aware of what she says, and let's see if you can work it out. Yes, the hotel in Jamaica said only Chinese and white people. Okay. The hotel said only Chinese and white people allowed. Jamaican black people. If that's the case, then we have to get this, the name of the hotel, the name of the city, just to say well done in the sense of if that is true, if Chinese people have gone to Jamaica and made a hotel where only Chinese and white people can go, then this is. Hopefully it was a Rastafarian who burned it down. So I don't know, some more fire stuff. I don't know, but this is getting silly now. Yeah, this is. I mean, it's very frequent. Yeah, we hear it all in once again. I mean, either way, we've got philosophy. You don't have to go all right. We've got double dilemma. Collectively, black people have no friends, so it's already there. We've known it for years. But there you go. Terrible. Anyway, let's say the video. Oh, come on. Are you joking? This is, oh, man. Hold on. Who did that? I'm actually, because I want to, and I had it somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. So I think, what would that sound come from then? Hold on. That's very weird. I'm just check to see if I download this properly. Hold on. How crazy is that? So I put this video on, and it's what do you call it? It's I don't get cut from the thing. Let me see if I can get the original. Man, they've got some car noises going through it, like it was knocked out by some kind of algorithm. Where is this? Let's see if we can find my projects. Oh no, there we go. It was very important. I'm gonna get. I thought it was good. The videos. Here we go. Let's go. Video production 190, and it's called. This is all. Yeah, it works. Let's hope it doesn't cut the thing off. So I'm gonna drag it across and upload it now. There you go. It hasn't been blackified, but I don't know if it's a proper company, so hopefully it won't get algorithm strikes. I'll start clapping in the background just to distort the audio. Where is it? Let's see. Ta-da!
Interesting. I think, a few years ago, I said something like that about the academy being very white male, which is the reality. Mm-hmm. And I was like, slashed to pieces by the media and stuff. But it's interesting that women can't talk. Like actually, like I sometimes wish I was African American. You know.
I'm going to pause there just for the break, but this French European looking woman, wishes she was African American for a particular reason.
Because I think at least people don't bash them afterwards when they say something, you know, about a reality, which is like, you know, we live in a xenophobic environment,
Right,
not
of
just
course.
the you know, not just the academy, obviously, just the entire world, you know. But like, it's very hard for a woman to open it. I think even hard. I think it's probably the hardest to be a woman because feminists is probably something that people hate above all. Like, I don't think it's nothing worse than being a woman in this business. I really believe there's nothing worse. Actually, in America, because in France it's fine.
Right. So it's this French white lady saying, you know, it's not worse than being a woman, and this is a good education for us because she says, you know, when black people, you know, at least when black people, she knows people hate black people, but when black people say, you know, you hate us, they don't bash them back, but they bash the woman. Or what she's forgetting is a woman can be black, therefore mean that's a double whammy. But once again, they don't mention that. They never do, and that's you got to remember that your thoughts are never with them. They never, you know, this intersectionality concept. I think it was black people who really pushed that forward, you know, and you know, like I don't think Europeans really think of these kind of things. Yeah, blah 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 blah. But there you go. I thought that was interesting. Hopefully, it won't get flagged. You know, blah blah. Where are we? Last video, then we're moving to the actual topic. I saw this. Yeah, this is more. This you guys might know him if you're in, I think, Birmingham or Bristol. One of them. Let me check. It shows a good brother here, but let's see. People. This is Bashi, who's a rapper and an actor, very talented one, and Kano, who's actually a talented actor and rapper, both. So I think it's both of them. I could be wrong. I think they've started a show. I don't know much about it, but I think their show name is the same as this guy called Russ Nando. And I think he was the best pleased. But my area of interest is, I'll tell you what.
Ras Nado here from the Reasoning Podcast. Yeah, I'm here taking my son to school in the morning. You know how we do it. Keep it righteous. Now, I got a few messages yesterday about someone sent me some footage. A couple people, GRM Daily and Bashi have now got. It's not a podcast, but it's where they sit down and discuss, called The Reasoning. Now, I wasn't going to say nothing because, you know, people like to talk about all this stuff about, Birmingham always say that London hate on them and steal their ideas. Then, obviously, my platform's new in it, I'm starting out. Obviously, there's no way I can talk to JRM Daily and Bashi. And I'm just a young black brother doing my thing, starting out. So tell me why these CO geezers now, would make something called a reasoning. Yeah, I'm calling you because that's what you are.
Yeah, so obviously the brother is the best pleased. Don't know if he knows his brothers, if they know, but I'm more concerned that he's got children in the car and he's losing his mind. And I think that's the thing. I've done some events before and I've seen people bring the kids and they effing blind about their kids. Maybe this is a standard now. I think it shouldn't be. I think controlling and not using profanity in front of your children is a very important thing to do. But I guess maybe now, you know, if the music and everything else just is maybe profanity led and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But definitely, that's I messaged that brother. I said, you know, I asked him that question, but I have to check to see if he got back to me. I don't know, but yeah, that's something to review. I don't think that's a good idea. But then the second topic of someone taking your idea, we can tackle that, whatever. But that's not going there. Anyway, let's go to the where is it? So what we got today? So this anti-black woman algorithm. We discussed challenges of black men promoting love for black women on Instagram. Yeah, like I said, I've been blocked many times. I've only ever been blocked on Instagram by. I'm going to start taking screenshots of what I write, like constructive black man, constructive black woman, constructive black family, or we put black women first because they're important. Blah blah blah. All this kind of stuff you put. I seem to get banned. They say you're now limited for a certain amount of days. It happens quite consistently. So it's, matter of fact, where's all the mix? I think I would. So let me I'll play some of the videos of what I saw maybe. So yeah, it might be this one, not this one. Mixed family. What's this one? Yeah. So I'll get. So first, here we go. Too many videos. Let me throw some of these away. So what is? We're going to start the second topic first, and we'll move to the more serious one next. Even though this is serious, not serious. Get rid of the cocaine kid one. That means you can tackle that. And then the Indian guy who's okay. We've got space now. Let me move the banks. There we go. And then the Indian night. Yeah, cool. All right, fantastic. Where are we? So it was mixed family pro black. No, not that one. Yeah. So was this. I get a lot. I guess if you click on one, the fact if you look for more than 4 seconds, the algorithm says you're interested. So I probably get bombarded with something. But I keep getting obviously European women who make uh, they do videos and say, look, I've got a black husband and my kids look white or something like this. So look, aren't my kids beautiful? Guess how they look. This kind of stuff, right? It's I think need for the cause it racial showcasing. That's pretty much what it is. So there's a video of this brother here. He's married to a European lady, and obviously all his offspring look like the mother. So the Ham's redemption is complete. It's successful. Whatever. When you make kids with a black man and they turn out white, you're just showing her your children who. So I feel I'll put something like do you support reparations? Whatever it is, Like I always say, that rather than people get angry or sad, like the usual comments will be, "Oh, they're beautiful, mixed kids are beautiful," this kind of stuff, or each one love who you want, whatever that comes. But I reckon the first thing is you say is like, do you support reparations for black people? That usually causes some kind of commotion. Or in this case, I would say, I'm sure kids will be nice no matter what they were. But big up the black woman, we love black women and this kind of stuff. And that usually gets me banned. I don't know if I get reported or flagged or it's just algorithm, but I get these kind of videos and I do question the racial showcasing techniques, why they do it. Well, obviously, they do it for clicks and obviously and flexing and that kind of stuff. And then what was this? This is I think I don't know what this. I forgot to write what this is, but I think this is talking. And we had a brother last week as well. A brother was one black parent, and he said he was going to jump on this week. I don't know if he's here, and we'll set some time if you are here for you later on to talk about. We're talking about how best people with one black parent can maneuver in the black community and it was kind of, he was mentioning a lot of things last week, but we had to end quickly. But yeah, if he's there, he's always going to jump on. But this is something people, one black parent, whatever.
Family, so let's deal with this. In the works of the late great Chancellor Williams' book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, he has a portion in there called the mulatto problem. Now, let me start by saying that I'm not advocating for anyone to hate or dislike mulatto or mixed race people. But historically, we must learn from our mistakes. Now, in chapter 2, titled Ethiopian's Oldest Daughter, Egypt, the first description says the Great Deception. So right here in the second paragraph, it says, since the first to be called Egyptians exclusively were half African, half Asian, their general hostility to their mother's race was a social phenomenon that should not be passed over lightly, which means that those mixed race Egyptians grew up to hate their black parents, and they began to sabotage their black parents. It got so bad that you can see right here it says Black Egypt turning brown and white. We can literally see history repeating itself right now today. Yes, this is Muhammad Ali's grandson and this is Patrick Mahomes and his mother and father. Side note right quick, Kemet aka Egypt was not the only time that a civilization, black civilization, was brought down by race mixing. If you actually do your research, you would know that in West Africa, a lot of the slave traders, the largest slave traders were actually mixed race people. There's a great book on that called Daughters of the Trade. These were African, dark-skinned, mixed-race women who called themselves signaries. Some of these signary women owned massive plots of land and a whole bunch of slaves. European merchants and traders, especially from the French and the British, would settle on coastal societies inhabited by signaries in order to benefit from their increased proximity to the sources of African commerce. The way that Europeans have used mixed-race children to benefit them is no joke. And I'm sure that even with all the information I have provided, some black person still gonna come up here and say something like, well, I feel like your feelings don't matter in the face of the truth. In conclusion, I don't even want to get started on how this affects generational wealth, genetics, community. It's a lot that comes along with it. But until we truly study and learn from our history, we will continue to repeat the mistakes of our history.
All right, brother, they're talking about some of the challenges of having different parents of different groups, and his conclusion. All right, now we're gonna go to the sad story now. So let's see if we can give you a backlog of what. So this is Daniel Anjorin. Hope I'm saying it right. And the brother was killed, 14 years old, young, very young brother. Where's this video now? All right, so what one should we go through? So let's give you some context of what happened. I think this might be it. So let's yes, the news report will be the best one.
Had happened in this close-knit community in Hainault in north-east London was at 10 to 7 yesterday morning, when neighbours reported hearing desperate and blood-curdling screams from Lang close behind me. It transpired that a man driving a van had come round the corner at heavy speed, crashed into a pedestrian before crashing into a house. Neighbours said that they went to go and check on the man who had crashed, but he got out carrying a 2-foot ornamental sword, which he then used to attack a schoolboy, 14 years old, leaving his home to head for his day at school. Neighbours described seeing the young boy sitting in a 6-foot pool of blood as he lay on the floor, while officers and police who arrived just 12 minutes after they were first called at 6:54 a.m. desperately tried to revive him. Sadly, there was nothing they could do.
When I left the house, I locked up, and as soon as I turned over, he approached me and he was asking he was basically saying, "Where are we? What's the address?" Once I told the address, he sort of moved closer towards me. He put his foot on my foot, so I couldn't back off. And then that's when he drew out the sword, and it was arm's length. It was honestly petrifying. I just ran. Once we called the police, as soon as I put the phone down, when I looked up, I saw that my neighbour, the young boy, coming out of his house to go to school. So at first, my instinct was to just shout and wave at him, which is what me and another neighbour did. But because he had just put his headphones on, I don't think he heard either of us. And yeah, and then it was sort of a moment where we just went from shouting to just blankness. You know, it just felt empty because someone's life just got taken right in front of us. So.
The man, who was 36, then fled.
So you're right. He didn't attack that woman, but he did the chuck. I don't understand that.
With the sword still in hand, down towards a garden area with some garages where he climbed atop them, still with a rabble of police officers in pursuit. It was at that point officers shouted at residents on the nearby Thurlow Gardens to lock their doors to make sure the man, who had earlier issued crazed shouts of "Do you believe in God?" could not get through their back doors.
Drop the sword! Oi! He's going in people's gardens, man. Lock your doors! Everyone lock your doors!
The man charged along the garden area, and it's understood from talking to neighbours and locals on Thurlow Gardens he may have tried to climb over somebody's gate to get onto their garage, where he was then met with a wall of police officers who shot him with 2 50,000-volt tasers in footage captured by a doorbell camera. Police first addressed the incident at around 11 a.m. yesterday, where they said that many people, 5 people in fact, including 2 police officers, have been injured in the rampage. This morning we learnt that some of the injuries to those cops are very serious indeed. One of them, Mark Rowley said, almost had her hand cut off, and he said it was a testament to how police run towards danger instead of running away.
We were on the ground in 12 minutes, and he was detained after 22 minutes. Obviously, some of the first contacts led to officers being very severely injured.
What can you tell us about the extent of the injuries, Samar?
I mean, we talk, don't we? People say sort of officers run towards danger. What you've actually seen on some of the videos that are out sort of around social media and on news sites such as your own, you actually see what that really looks like. You've got officers running towards someone who's waving a sword. I went to the hospital yesterday and to see the officers and their families. I saw the inspector whose hand's badly damaged. I saw him before the operation. He was in good spirits. I think that was partly the morphine, to be honest.
Right, okay.
But he's got sort of a lot of patching up to be done on his hand. Really serious injuries there. And I was talking to the family and colleagues of the officer, woman officer, who's really badly damaged arm, really seriously damaged, and the surgeon spent sort of many hours sort of basically putting her arm back together. It'll be a long journey of recovery.
One newspaper said of the female officer, it was close to her actually losing her hand. Are you able to confirm that?
That's not a million miles away. I mean, it's really horrifically serious injuries.
It's understood another one of the injured is at least one of the residents on Lang Close who attempted to assist the driver, believing that what they had witnessed was a straightforward motor vehicle accident.
Showing a video, I think they. Oh, what
After he
happened
was
there?
arrested,
I think they caught it. They actually caught it. So, yeah, if you see here, someone's walking and he drives into them and they don't show it.
After he was arrested, locals on Thurlow Road said the police wrapped the man in a black protective sheet in order to restrain him. However, he continued resisting until he was eventually bundled into the back of a police van by as many as 6 or 7 police officers who all surged towards the threat. The man this morning is still being kept under guard at a local hospital. His injuries are still too severe for him to be interviewed. He has been officially arrested but not yet charged. Behind me in Lang Close, around a dozen police officers, including forensics teams and sniffer dogs, are still scouting the area for any evidence there may be. In the immediate aftermath of the incident yesterday morning, there was a range of medical equipment and a chair that could be seen in the street, where some of the injured were treated on the scene by paramedics. The suspect's van, which was left here until around 11:30 last night, has now been removed. Footage posted on social media showed it being towed away. It's unclear where that van is being taken. However, you would think it would make quite a considerable part of the evidence in this case as police investigate exactly what has gone on.
Home Secretary, appalling scenes on the streets of London yesterday, but scenes of absolute heroism from our police. Can I get a reaction to that?
Watching the news report of the unfortunate killing of the 14-year-old Daniel Anjorin. I've just seen the last 2 minutes of it. Very unfortunate that the brother was killed. We don't know much about the killer himself. He's Spanish-speaking Brazilian, Spanish citizen, as I think it was. That's all we know. And he was carrying a sword and he was jumping in gardens and riding over people. Don't know what, but we're going to cover the report of it afterwards. It's more important for the case study today, I guess.
Yes, well, look, the terrible loss of life, particularly of a child, is always awful. But the police acted swiftly, responded quickly, and the officers displayed huge bravery in confronting an armed person on the streets of London. I've had an update from the Commissioner of the Met Police on those officers who were injured, and I have so much admiration for their decisiveness and their courage in light of what has happened.
How is it that someone can roam the streets of London with a blade of that size? Kemi Badenoch this morning said that you're looking at further restrictions on sale of swords. Is that?
Well, we've already put a whole range of legislation in place. There's more coming through in the Criminal Justice Bill with regard to weapons, particularly zombie knives. Of course, it is already illegal to carry a bladed weapon like that on the streets. But as I say, the response from the police was incredibly swift, but the tragedy is heartbreaking.
Sadiq Khan, Mayor of London, said critics that saying that machete crime was out of control in London had been watching too much Wire.
Look, I've publicly been critical of what I believe to be a failure of the mayor to take violent crime in London seriously enough. I think comments like that betray an unwillingness to be really honest about the increase in knife crime in London, Across the whole of the country, it has trended downwards, but London, it has increased by something in the region of 20%. This is something that I've raised with him directly, and hearing those comments, as I say, in my mind, reinforce the fact that he is not focusing.
Yeah, there's one other video of the two of them. It's just, I think it's just a video of the actual, yeah, I guess, yeah. It's just a video of I don't know his name. He has a, I think it's Mondo, something Mondo, Monzo. I remember. I can't remember the rest of it though. And then what was the last one? What's this? Oh, so is that? Oh, there was that yeah. So this is, where's that the sword? Yeah. So let me mute this. Yeah. So a lot of the Sun reported sword lad, and then I think it was the Mirror. Another one said what did they say? They had a picture of him smiling and this is the killer smiling and doing like bow and arrow lessons or something. It's the way they frame this stuff is once again it's just not. But this is how break it down.
Sword lad. That is how the Sun newspaper thought it would be acceptable to refer to a young boy, Daniel Anjorin, as, who tragically lost his life in a brutal attack in London, just in case we needed any more proof that the British media is incredibly racist. So I am sure that we are all aware of what happened in Hamilton, London, where a man called Marcus Monzo went on a horrific rampage which took the life of a 14-year-old boy called Daniel Anjorin, as well as injuring 4 other people. Horrific violence, and you can't even begin to imagine the pain that Daniel's family and friends are going to be going through right now. Now, with that in mind, why did the absolute shite rag that is the Sun newspaper think that it would be okay to refer to Daniel as Sword Lad? What was the thought process behind that? He's got a name, you know it, use it. It is just blatant dehumanization and racism on full display in leading British national newspapers. And how do we know that this is racism? Well, compare these 2 front pages describing the
Brother Cal.
London attack and then the Nottingham attack, where Grace O'Malley Kumar, Barnaby Webber and Ian Coates tragically lost their lives. You can see the very obvious differences on display, and also notice how on the London front page there is an article about Rwanda flights right below the reference to Daniel's passing. It is so obvious. These people think that we are stupid. The Sun knew 100% what they were doing. They've done it thousands of times before. Made Daniel's family find peace and justice.
So once again, there was other video. I downloaded some stuff. I can't find it now, but it was it's how they report it. Yeah, but we know this. It's not rocket science. But yeah. But once again, we have to use all this because we have to make Black people delineate and focus on Black issues. And like I said, if you're going to buy a newspaper, buy The Voice. This kind of stuff. Very tragic, really. Very sad story there. But yeah, this is so this was the 2 topics. You see, first one we was talking about the anti-Black woman algorithm. We discussed challenges of Black men promoting Black love on Instagram. I find it very challenging to promote Black love. I get banned a lot. And then Daniel Anjorin, unfortunately, the 14-year-old brother from Nigeria was murdered by a person, a Spanish-speaking foreign person, I guess. I don't know. Who's carrying a sword, and he's now. I think he's been charged, but I'm not too sure. We're still waiting to see what happens, but we just, much love and respect going out to the family. Hopefully, we can do something to support them. Big up Empress Kush jumping on live. Big up Black Betterment sister.
Black Betterment bro, peace to the brothers and sisters in the chat.
There you go. Is that my phone? I think I'll turn it. Yeah. Big up everyone in the family. I think is your phone. I think it's not that loud, but there might be like a humming coming from your. Yeah. I don't know. I just hope it doesn't make it hard for you to speak, but it was quiet, but it's cool. Well, yeah. So the answer to that it's it isn't really a problem. If I think it's when you're not speaking, it's kind of like
really.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because you're close to.
When I'm not talking, I'll go on mute. I don't know if that'll make it easier.
That would definitely be good. Definitely. Yeah. So where are we? But yeah. So fam, if you want to jump on, you can jump on live. I'm thinking. We did say last week there was a brother who wanted to have a segment talk about his preference, his biracial. He himself has got one black parent and why he wants to marry a one black parent woman or biracial woman, something like this. Let me put words in your mouth. If he's here, welcome to jump on. If not, then not. So be it. We're also talking about anti-black women algorithm. I forgot to play this video. Let me check out.
Oh yeah, I remember when the brother wrote that in the chat.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
He said he wanted to come this week, but I don't think he's here this week. Oh, I saw this was good. This is very important. I didn't play this one.
Nationality.
So this Asian lady, this gentleman's asking, "What's the most sexy nationality?" Let's see what she says.
Most sexy nationality. 中文, 黑人, black people, right?
Yeah, like black people.
Which country? Just in general?
Like rappers, like that. That type.
So you're like a fan of like hip hop and rap culture?
Yeah.
Have you dated a black guy before?
No.
But you want to, right?
No. I just feel like they're good looking, but I won't actually like date them.
So it's more like a fantasy,
yeah,
right?
like I don't really have a chance to. There's like black people that ask me for like contact.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like-
on street. Yeah, on the street. Yeah.
And you still say no?
I'm not really into it. I don't know why, but now like when I look at Instagram pictures, I'm like, wow, he's so hot.
You think they're really sexy, but you wouldn't date one.
Yeah.
Why?
Because like culture differences, I'm more comfortable with like Chinese people.
Pick any nationality you could date and have a relationship with. Who would it be?
Chinese.
Still, don't worry.
Yeah.
Half Chinese, half
Oh, that would be so hot.
Most sexy.
Right. So what's important? First of all, what's important is there's a woman from China, and for some reason she finds black men attractive. You can understand probably why. Well, we think black people are attractive, but obviously when it comes to being with a black person, this lady says no. The cultural difference and this won't work. I think I'm getting feedback. I'm just gonna set mute and unmute. Okay. So welcome, Brother Musa. I think the feedback's gone. Is that me? Since you joined me, I've been getting some feedback, but it says that your microphone's off, so I don't understand how that.
To me, his microphone's showing up mute, and I stayed mute, and it was still echoing.
Yeah, this is interesting. I do wonder what's going on here. Wait, let me see. It's not a video, I think. Let me unmute me. Mic check. Interesting.
Do you want to try unmuting both of us and then muting us again?
Yeah, look at that. This is very weird. Mic check. Well, Brother Musa, I'm just going to drop you down and see if that changes it. Yeah. Mic check. Yeah, I think Brother Musa's he must have some different kind of technology because when he's gone, it's gone.
Just if you're listening, brother, come back. It StreamYard gets a bit funny like that.
Yeah, I brought him back in. It's doing the same thing. Maybe you can leave and then join again through the.
But he's not showing up as.
No.
All right, shall I leave and I come back?
Yeah,
It sounds fine when he's talking now.
No.
It sounds fine.
Well, mic check.
It's you. He sounds fine, but it's Brother Raven. I think myself that. But if you go mute for a second, Brother Musa.
Mic check.
Okay, you're better now.
Yes, I think what it is when there's a feedback that it picks up when his mic's on. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah. There you know. So, like I was saying, so the lady from China, obviously, she said she fancies black men, fancy whatever it is, hip hop or something. But she would not marry a black person. Very important. This is something that we, understand that cultural. What's the word? Cultural. There's a word that
appropriation. Cultural appropriation.
Oh no, not that one. It's cultural compatibility. Sorry, cultural compatibility. And I think that's important. And I think that's something that many black brothers don't seem to, I think black men being gassed and wanted to be desired, they'll quickly go and give their economics away. But you see the Chinese lady there was saying this is not going to work. So I found it a very interesting thing. And just to add to that, let's go to present video. So there was a black
I
sister.
think it.
Go
I
ahead.
think it also highlights just the different ways of seeing relationships. Like she could look at black men and appreciate that they're attractive.
Yes.
She almost sounds like she could almost fantasize and picture herself with one. But in reality, when he said that, you know, when it comes down to it, when you're gonna have a relationship, she chooses her own.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of capacity. Some people have the capacity to say, okay, that's good looking, and just move on. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think with our culture, there's just well, if I want to, why not? You know, there's just there's no
Just for
layers to it sometimes, or just seeing a culture that has kept to a culture where they can understand and appreciate it, but something comes more than lust. You know, something comes more than just trying it out. Something comes more than just have a go. Like there's a culture, there's an expectation, there's a reason for why we're doing this. There is a what do we call it? You know, what do we always call it when a couple builds together? You know, history with money. I forgot the word. Sorry, I'm sure it'll come to me.
Generational wealth.
Generational wealth. We got there. So, and that all of those are priority. When she thinks about relationship, you can see that those people who are still embedded in culture understands that when I think of a person, it's is he working? Is he a good person? Is he of a culture? Are we going to have generational wealth? Like there's some logics, and it's not adjacent to, oh, he looks good. Oh, she looks good. You know, it's just there's more behind it, and I feel that that's one thing that we've kind of lost within a culture. You know, and I've said it before. I think with our girls, we just scare them nearly into death to not be a young mother or a single mother. And with the men, I don't know what we're really saying to them, to be honest with you, in regard to love or
Empress, could you elaborate a bit more on that? We scared the women into being single.
Yeah, I mean, I can probably only talk for my generation, but I know that growing up for me, it was, you know, there was a big taboo of being maybe an underage, a young mum, like a teenage mum, probably a stereotype of ending up being a baby mother, literally those words. And I think when you're growing up, these are the things as a woman that you're told. And I can understand why, right? And it's a lot of stay away from man and stuff like that. And as you're a young girl, you're in your school uniform, and you do have every black girl, I'm sure, has had the incident of a grown man talking to them. That's not unusual. And I think that that's where it stopped. Whereas I understand why, because as a girl child, as a girl pitney, you're very vulnerable. And I feel that the best way for our parents or elders in that generation was just to move them, like just to separate it. It's like, just don't go near it, don't go near boys are bad, don't get pregnant, da, da, da. And then that was it. It was just drill fear into them. Whereas there could have been a discussion in regards to what a decent boy looks like. Not all men are bad. You know, what type of man you should look for, understanding what's a good characteristic, what's a bad characteristic, what are traits that you should look out for or be worried about. How do you not get manipulated or groomed, or do you know what I mean? There's so much other things in regards to generational wealth, staying within culture. But we don't have none of these conversations with our girls really. When I was young, it was just more about don't get pregnant. If that makes sense.
Well, find out.
I'm not saying that every family does that. I'm just saying as an overall, if I'm saying, you know, I'm sure all of us have had people within our family who are not like that, but I think the general consensus is just then when I was growing up, just, you know, don't go near boys.
That's a very, I think Empress, because you've made it's a very powerful thing you're saying there. I think very powerful statement. And does it go on to show that we don't really have because of the crisis of identity and the lack of a proper cultural foundation, does that also bleed into the inability to parent or the struggles to find the correct tools? Because parenting is based on, it's going to have something to do with custom and etiquette, innit? Or ethics from that particular culture group. And if a group has been robbed of knowledge of self, do they know how to parent? Would they know how to parent as soon as the child is born? What would they teach it if they don't know anything other than what the colonial master taught them?
Exactly, I agree. You don't know, you can't teach what you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. So it is a minefield as well. And I think it's understandable to the testament of, as a woman, I can see why certain things as in black women that are doing wrong now kind of stems from that. You know, it stems from a lot of the points that you've mentioned and I've mentioned. I think there's a lack of, and then I think perhaps this gender wars we're seeing is the realization, do you understand, of actually, but in a bad way, coming out in a toxic way, right? Because the truth always shows itself eventually. And I think that's what people are realizing, you know, that it's even this whole, you know, going for a thug. Do you understand? And then certain men are saying that when a woman gets to a certain age, they realize they don't want to fuck. Well, if they had been told that from the get-go, you know, just like, you know, understand, because we say a fuck, but we don't say what we mean as well. What we're saying when we're saying a fuck or a roadman, we're talking about a man who's, you know, arrogant, has no emotional intelligence, probably doesn't like, and this is the bad cliche of it, I'm saying, right? This is what the inclination is when people say that. This is the negative stereotype onto this person. And all of those characteristics that we're actually saying when we say this is things that I'm saying that is what we should be telling adolescent young females as they're going to start getting the attention of other men to be looking for. You should be able to liaise with the other sex and stuff like that. But you're supposed to do that. It's supposed to teach you, right? It's not like as soon as you're of age, you jump in bed. It's being able to recognize and talk to the other sex. That's why you have these men who are incels who don't even know how to converse with women. Like, because they just don't get it. So I just think that it's I think a lot of the things that we're seeing now is the symptoms of people really not even knowing, and we've said this like from the get-go in Black Betterment, is we have a big problem with conversing with each other. And I don't, you know, I just think that that's what it is. Conversing with each other as man and women in a relationship, and conversing with each other and being honest with each other with our young ones, with adults.
There you go. Big up, Rob Foster. Raven, I'm tired. I'll come next week. Say, yeah, that was a brother. He wanted to talk about his experiences having one black parent, but the brother's a bit type O from working or something. So, yeah, by all means, bro, anytime you want to come on, but next week, by all means. By the way, there's no pressure. Even if you jump on this week, you don't have to do any kind of like essay or anything. You could just have a conversation. But, yeah, next week is fine. Big up that brother. Big up Empress Kush as well, giving perspective. Very important. There's a video here of why are black. We just watched a video for those who are joining of a Chinese woman saying she physically finds black men attractive, but she could never be with a black person because of cultural reasons, and it just doesn't work. And we're saying that's a very good way for black men to view non-black women. But segueing in from that is now looking at a black woman who's saying, she's asking the question, why are black women undesired as wives? And the reason I'm playing this is because it's more so the response from black men in the comments, as well as another question of how the platform should respond, as in we've got an Instagram page, but it doesn't really jump in comments, but maybe one of the strategies could be that it does. But what does that look like, and what tone should it take, and how far? Because as you know, these comment sections become very back and forth and trolly, and that's probably best for an individual rather than an actual page that represents Black women. But we can discuss that. But let's just hear what the sister says, and then we can read the comments. I'm just reading. Yeah, there we go. Let's press play. Ta-da.
This message is for Black women and Black women only. Answer this question. So statistics show that only 26% of Black women will marry in their lifetime from any race. 26% of Black women will marry in their lifetime. My question is, why do you guys think that is? Why do we have such low marital rates? And I'm not talking about black women marrying black men. I'm talking about men of all race wanting or desiring to marry a black woman. Why are we so undesired when it comes to marriage? Now, I know there's percentage who don't want to be married, right? But there's a large percent of women, black women, who want to be married. But again, why is that the case? Why is that? You know, I think if we start to really sit down and think about why statistics are what they are, they're not there for just for just any reason, right? There's reasons behind it, and I think that there's a plethora of reasons, and from my opinion, of why I believe that those statistics are what they are and why we are the lowest.
The whole thing. Okay, cool. Yeah. So then, I went to I went to the comment section to share screen. It might have changed now because obviously when time goes by, people add and delete stuff. Let's see let's go for the comment section. Why are black women getting married at higher rates? Blah blah. As black men, we do actually. I'll read that another time. But I'm not going to be the guy that cuddles and lies like others in these comments. There's perception, hot girl summer. I don't need a man. I'll wait till I get a degree and I'm in my 30s. Not caring, too harsh. Hey, I'm just saying. I think that guy's talking about manosphere kind of stuff. I'm not too sure. I'm so tired of foreign women with zero facts cosplaying black Americans and crying about not being desirable. So this seems to be this actually is quite a popular kind of woman in America who does speeches or something, I think. And there's obviously some issue going on there with the whole African Americans and black women and foreign black women or whatever. There's no statistics for black women. Marriage is not in fashion for anybody. People in Iceland don't even bother to get married. Meanwhile, white women are divorced 50% of the time, and white men commit 99% of family massacres. Okay, let's carry on.
I'm kind of leaning towards that post that woman said there. Now, my feelings.
Yeah,
it's just so like, are we still doing why black women not married when that, I think what that comment kind of basis is just, I don't know if she's talking about all black women in all countries or if she's just referring to America. And women in general, I don't think are getting married that well. And to start I just feel that we need to come away from this divisiveness talk and just, it's an in-house problem, it's a holistic problem, it's a man and woman sort it out together instead of a battling kind of thing. And I think this is just like I've been saying for a while, the turning tide of people getting tired of this kind of rhetoric. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is a problem, but to structure it like this is tired, it's weak, and it's just played out kind of thing for me. Like, we could definitely talk about the issues between black men and women, but to say that black women are not getting married or the least likely, it's just by what country, what standard, what year, compared to who? Do you know what I mean, bro? At this point, I don't know what this does. What does this do? Just putting that question out there.
I think a lot of the issue we have, I think, is, and a lot of framing is on the side of the black woman. But I think if you're going to ask that question, you have to kind of come from a black man perspective. And the reason I'm playing here is because the response of black men is important. And I'm looking at, so because y'all are masculine and talk too much, obviously troll people like this, but generally I'm interested in the amount of black men who jump on to make the issue about black women, and the issue to make about why they don't want to leave black women, because this is at the heart of the problem, as in like men who are not based on solutions but based on finger pointing, and seeing them in comments and how to deal with that, or even how to raise people not to ever do that, right? Or how that's what's actually happened. You've just did exactly what said, and the exact thing triggered. She proved the point. He shared his bold negative opinion, and she shared hers. Because men want to split bills, come be a man of the house. Really, you are a roommate. Okay, it's back and forth, blah blah blah. Well, quite a lot, yeah. It's kind of just paying the bills kind of talk. Let's see. American black women want sponsors and not husbands. They don't want to be partnerships. They want to just exist without competition. And then there's obviously
Question.
Go ahead, brother.
What's the panel? Do you think it's about time, that we as black folk in the West took our leave? If we're honest with all this racism and abuse that we're supposed to be suffering in, is the only way to save us is to leave and form our own homeland, because it was rife anti-Semitism in Europe that forced the Jews to go off and found the nation of Israel. And so if we are suffering in the manner that we say we are suffering as African diasporas in the West, is it us, is the responsibility with us to take our leave and form our own nation according to our own values? At this point, are we responsible, and are we just in a state of Stockholm syndrome, groveling before somebody else's dying system?
Yeah. Well, let me answer that. So I think the difference between black people and Jewish people is the European Jewish people they were based in like Germany and Poland, and they never had a homeland that they could go to where it's like, this is the homeland of where the Jewish people stay. So they had to do what they did with the whole Israel Palestine stuff. The difference is black people actually have lands where black people run the land. So there's hundreds, there's tens of 20, there's like what, 50 or 40 something, maybe 50 African nations. There's the Caribbean. So there's places where black people run. So I think there's a lot of people say that when it comes to escaping global mistreatment, it doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna face it either way in some form, right? But I think one thing I would say is the unity that you see amongst the Jewish community. If black people could have that form of unity and that dedication, then wherever we are, they will see improvement, because you'll be able to have solutions delivered much quicker because everyone will be on the same page. And I think what we're highlighting with this kind of comments is like, if your men and women are on the same page, where men are trying to point at women and women are pointing here and this kind of stuff like that, then it's going to be problematic, right? So I think for us, it comes to leadership, and leadership is men. When it comes to like reforming communities and getting things in order, if your men are disorganized and dedicated to blaming women for community problems, then that shows you that no matter where we go, we won't even be organized to go there, because they'll be arguing about this, that, and the third, and what you should call it and where we should go and this kind of stuff. So I guess the reason we have this show is to promote the method of how people become unified.
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say. Like, it doesn't matter where we go. It's the mentality.
Yes.
All right. The whole purpose. Let me give you another example. The whole purpose why Pakistan was made is because Pakistanis wanted a state in order to practice their culture and religion, which was it was Islam. They could no longer be with other ethnic groups, the Hindus, the Sikhs, and so forth. But the reason Pakistan was formed under the lines of a people who were Islamic, and so they wanted an Islamic thing, calendar, language, school system, etc., based upon how they sought to live their life as a group of people. And I'm saying that the blacks, the closest we came to having a black state that was based on those principles was Liberia and Sierra Leone, but that's another story. But those nations, they were failed states. But the blacks are not seeing the same. They don't move with the same purpose or the same urgency. I think the urgency or the purpose has been lost, because there has been examples of groups of people going off and doing it. But if we are if the drama that comes with being black in the West is so severe, it's so overwhelming. But why do we not have that same need to get away? I'm not just talking from our generation, but our parents' generation, their parents' generation. Where was the drive and the motivation to say, you know what, I need to get away from this cruel, evil, wicked system. This man is out to get me. If you've seen any other scenario, if the boogeyman was running, it was coming your direction, you would run the other direction, right? Or you would fight him. And right now, black people are not fighting the boogeyman and they're not running away from him.
Thank you for the points. Yeah. And thanks for the perspective. Yeah, I think organization is the key there, and I think running is one thing. If you, there's a metaphor you gave, but I think what you'll find is Chinese people will have Chinatown. They'll have Chinatown, Nigeria. They'll have China, and they seem to understand how to get on code and do things for themselves. And I think the reason why we do these entire shows is if you can form a framework, a fundamental framework of how to process information that works in your own collective best interest. If you can do that and teach it and have cultural means of doing it, then big up, brother. No, you're never too late. Welcome to the Black Bear, very important contributor. If we can remember that's why we do these shows, and that's why we're looking now on the screen. We have the Black Economics Is campaign, teaching black people basis of economics and how to try to make it alluring best we can, and keeping these fundamental things. We just saw a video of the Chinese woman saying, she finds black people attractive, but she understands that she has a cultural commitment to marry a Chinese man and do Chinese stuff, right? And that should be how we preach for black people. And of course, we're going to have pushback because we're a compromised, we're a heavily compromised group, sorry, right? But that's why when things hit fever pitch, then that's when you start getting kickback. So the pushback. This is the pushback. Now, once black people become synchronized, it might just be automatic that we have to go somewhere, or we go to either lands or Liberia or whatever it is. But that has to come once you're synchronized. Once you're synchronized on the same page. Before Jerusalem was formed, the Israelis or the Zionists in Germany and in Poland, they had to get together and they decided, should we go to Uganda? Should we go to Kenya? Should we go to Israel? Should we stay here? Should we try to have a state here? And they voted.
Now you're talking. That's right.
Yeah. So, but one of the most important things from my standpoint.
Raven, elaborate on that point. Was talking about the Jew and they was thinking, where should we go? Should we go to Uganda? Should we go on, continue.
Yeah. So, but this was the thing, and then they decided that Uganda obviously was, I think they were trying to kick out the British at the time and harming Europeans. They were getting on cold in Uganda, so they said it would be the best place for us there. So then, they thought Israel would be a good one, and they, and all German people got on cold, and they went there, and that's why today, they will not speak against anything they're doing towards the Palestinians because they're on cold, right? Well, we need to create the foundation that makes sense. Yeah, when they have philosophies like never forget, it's very important because what they're telling people is they know that no matter where they go, people will try to kill them, and that's why they always say never forget. They'll tell you to forget, but they'll make sure they never forget. Now that's important. So they're using their past pain to condition their current people, and I think I never like comparing scars. It's a horrible thing, but if the world was to make it into a kind of competition, well, black people have the gold medal, won't we? Because the pain is just unrelenting, and it's baked into the cultural fabric of most lands, and it's accepted. So that's why when we start the show, we talk about the double dilemmas: collectively being inadequate, not organized, and collectively having no friends. So once Black Betterment, the solution to that is practice. You'll be able to go on the internet or go on the phone and go, black people, we're making a new land called this, at this part, or we're going a new city or a new economic hub base, and we need this kind of support. And everyone makes sense because we've done the synchronization campaigns. We've got everyone on board. People culturally practice the solutions to black challenges without always giving you other people's ideology or double consciousness. You see, it's a form of double consciousness that we need to be practicing anymore because we have Black Betterment, which is a single solution. For those who are joining us here on the screen at the moment, we're talking about, well, this is a quick segue. We need your help. If you give us a list of black-owned business where the black owner is happily married and promotes their children and family, so we can put a picture of them, their economics, their brand, and their promotion, so we can just promote what black economics is. Big up Empress Christie. She helped formulate what black love is, and we're trying now form what black economics is as a campaign. And big up Brother Dominic who's coming in there. You're not late, brother. You're always on time. And big up Brother Foster who's going to speak next week.
Yeah, I'm interested in, I feel like with this topic, I feel that it'd be interesting to have his point of view on it. You know, I think that we've kind of gone quite far with it without having an input from himself. So it'll be interesting. I think we'll just be going around in circles at this point and talking about it. So it will be interesting because not to go off track or anything, but I suppose this is a bit of a culture, and I know you're an old school kind of hip hop head. So in regards to what's been happening with like Drake and everyone else, I just kind of was smiling to myself because I just kind of thought that this is another example of like a grey area. I don't know if you've been watching the thing or even just the responses from, you know, the culture. And this talk about, you know, the fact that this Canadian mixed heritage boy is saying the N word and you know the takeover of rap, and then I think somebody referred it to the NBA, which I didn't even know this anymore. I forgot what they called it, but it's like how basically like most of the NBA is like now mixed race.
Right, yeah.
I didn't know that. And there's this discussion now in regards to, and even within the rap, you know, this whole thing about what is black. Because, you know, America is the one who normally did was it the one drop rule kind of thing? And whereas other countries, I think since social media and even probably just, you know, with life, I think that I've seen that this along with like the ADOS conversation, this conversation is happening a lot within the family overseas. So it's very interesting because this grey area now is getting manipulated, and these kinds of quote unquote traditional artists of the art is literally getting managed out. Like you can just see it. And I just think again it was just a lack of gatekeeping and you know, it hitting the fan. So it's I just kind of, you know me, I always see the lessons in things, and I just think it's very interesting even with the conversations with the culture and when you hear how they're talking now. So I think that again it just shows why black betterment is needed. And it just kind of proves our point with certain things that are saying this. I don't know if any of the brothers or anyone in the chats have noticed any of the conversation or the things that I've noticed that's been highlighted.
I've seen it, and I'm gonna take this week to really check out some of the full skit, because obviously songs are floating and responses and lyrics and people are responding. I really jumped on it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But in regards to your question, so this is the football UK one, as in like if we look in the like people, this is like the top guys who play for England, and a lot of these guys themselves will have one black parent. But when we look back in the 80s, 70s, 90s, a lot of them were actually had two black parents, right? So what's happening is their children and people in general obviously having more kids with non-black women, or white women. This people say white women, and that same process is happening in basketball. And in basketball, a lot of the children actually have fathers who were players. Like there's a lot of players like that. We covered.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. So, and I think that. I'm glad you mentioned that, bro. I think that's a very big point to highlight.
Very important. And so before you join, I don't know if you saw it. I'll see if I can find it. This is stop share.
It's crazy how they're using nepotism in that way, though, right, bro? It's like this is wild.
So I think the two for white, mixed white, black, white. Where is it? There we go, mixed family. So this is this is not it. Sorry, this is actually I think I got my comment got removed on that. Let's see if I can find. Let me go for it. The Black Church. Where's this guy, man? No. The Black Church. When I started, most sexy. Oh, this guy. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that one. The thing. Yeah. So this, I think he might be from some place in Africa. I could be wrong. He might be African American, but I think he might be from Africa. But he's a lot of the same patterns that they might do there. And I assume this European lady there is his girlfriend, but he's just got a deal. New York Jets. Yeah. He's in the New York Jets, which is American football, I believe. All the families there, and everything. The mother's in between the girl, and that was a comment. Look, the mother's blocked the girlfriend. Well done, because taking pictures and she shouldn't be there. Who knows? I don't know the story, but once again, this is the start of his career, and I see a lot of these, like a black man in America. They've been signed to a basketball or a football, and then in there they have their parents and their European girlfriend. So already very early, it's there. You see, and then
it's a uniform.
Yeah,
but this has been going on since I was young with like footballers.
Yeah, of course.
Like even within their own community, like there's just some women that have just, I think they go to a polishing school of. It used to be, was it Kiss and Tell women in the newspapers? I just used to think there was just a polishing school where all these girls go to that just get the lowdown of how they do it, and then they just enter the club where they all happen to be in the VIP, and they just pick the one that's going to be their next lunch.
I think,
to be honest, and the fact that we're just adopting it or not even seeing the signs. This is what I'm saying. Like with the West, I don't think that they do anything new, and that's what gets me as I get older. The more I get older, it's not even a new gameplay. Imagine someone coming to you and in a game of chess and they're doing the same moves. Like Tuesday, you sat down with the man, he'd done the same 4 moves and you lost. Friday, he did the same moves and you lost. Saturday, you did the same. Like that's what we're doing. Like it's the same moves and we just easily just fall into the trap.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy because the moves are almost set up like a stepping board, like for him, okay, let me work hard. Coming from 2 black parents, let me get hard, because the whole desire in a household is to become a footballer, to be accepted by these Western people. Okay, now I've gone into I don't know what it is, the class football group for the class. Now I'm one of the greatest people. Now I'm getting headhunted. Now I need to get a woman. Who am I going to go for? I know, got to go for, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's set up so easy, like a template now, that we actually self-elect to go into the same moves, the same 4 moves to get to get beaten. And then we end up like that actor crying, woe is me, talking about, I don't understand how this happened. Like the black man, the man that's got dropped from all of the Disney movies and things like that.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors.
Huh?
Jonathan Majors.
Exactly.
Jonathan Majors.
Bro, thank you. And now you've got Jonathan Majors talking about, I don't know how this happened, bro. I could just give you the same example since I was a child. Like it's cliche. Same 4 moves.
I think
it's crazy to me.
What I propose is very controversial, and I think I don't know many people who can do it, because I think as a black community, what's a big part of our promotion upbringing is feeling good and remembering when we were kings and queens, this kind of stuff, right? I generally think as a strategy, leaning on the men and saying that we recognize that our community actually is conquered. Like as in that because it's very hard, because we've been trained, just like when I asked black women to let me know how they feel on the show. It's very difficult because we've been trained not to, right? But I think as a community, we've always been trained to go, we're kings, we're queens, we're doing good, right? But I think as a marketing strategy, I think being aware that a high level of our community is not marrying our community, and it's having a devastating effect, and the history of being conquered and inadequate is the reason. You see, and no matter what we do, we can't paint a nice picture. We can't try to go, oh well, racism, this kind of stuff. It's like, no, with the choices that we are allowed to have, we are choosing bad because we have philosophies that don't make us accountable. I'm talking about men at the moment, right? So this is a very important thing, and I think this would be a very successful strategy if the conversation was to start by, did you know that black men, they for X amount of reasons are destroying our community economically because we refuse, to do industry building, marrying the descendants of enslaved women or whatever, right? We don't paint nice pictures to allow good feel good solutions. It's like, no, this is a sinking ship, but the ship can actually float really well if we acknowledge it. And I think for all the strategies I'm seeing, I think that might be the most effective for the quickest, right? Because the data is out there in the sense of that the ship, like I said, if you look, things grow tremendously, right? So this is the UK in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and this is it in 10s, 20s, right? So, and there's much more than we can even see. The same for politicians, same for the
No, I think as well, though, bro. I think because we're so with the black men us have such a close proximity to this, it's going to be hard to find any brother to stand on it like yourselves. Do you understand what I mean?
That is a challenge. It's more so getting it's more so getting the brothers who can see it synchronized in the sense of, okay, this is the game plan, right? As in, like, if we can highlight these reasons, as in like, it's okay to ask the UK or America or Canada, where is the black community, like economically and own resources, right? And then get that data and go, notice we're at the bottom. Should we stay there? Like, I think
but they don't do the correlation. They don't do the correlation.
But that's the campaign. The campaign is, this is the Asian community, this is the black community, this is the Chinese community, this is the white community, right? This is the economics, this is the ownership, this is what it looks like. Is there anyone here? Because what I'm doing now is when I go on shows, whatever, and I'm talking to like unsynchronized black people, I'll just say, look, just so you know, guys, can I just have a show of hands of the black men who want to, work with black men to fix black issues and fix black community? And then I just there and then delineate from those who don't, like in the show, like, okay, so these guys have said they want to unify their resources with non-black people. Fine. We're going to do it here. Now we've got the numbers. It might be 7 of us, but at least we know that 7 working consistently, right? Rather than a mystery of people who won't. And I think that open dialogue of saying, yes, we're losing, we recognize it. Who wants to be on the side that makes us win? So you have clear delineation, yeah? You have clear delineation, like, these are the people who want to do it, these people who don't. So now there's a conversation in the internet, just like there's a conversation about black men, about men going their own way and high value men, and it's now because of the consistency of it, you now have to have a conversation, whether you acknowledge it or you think it's fake or real, or whatever, because of those men being consistent with a tone of voice, right or wrong. You now have to acknowledge it and you're aware of it. So these words, high value men, you're aware of it, right? Wherever it comes from. The same thing can come from being collectively inadequate or black men not building. Yeah, these things are important. Like have a conversation, an uncomfortable conversation, so you can have a clear man that say, I'm a black man and I don't care about black community. So you can, okay, good.
So let me ask you a question, bro, because I honestly have not been around these places for ages now.
Yeah.
So I honestly thought that this was dying out. So when you're talking when you're having these conversations with people, they're still bringing up those kind of quotes. Because I don't know if we covered it here, but we're all aware what happened with the Fresh and Fit guy, right?
Yeah.
And another L for that whole movement,
Yeah.
Guy that's talking about leading the young males to a healthy relationship, staying away from these terrible kind of women and getting a wholesome, fit and friendly and great woman. And then, one of them ended up trapping a Chinese woman. Getting a Chinese woman pregnant, and she's just embarrassed him, right? It's like another L. So I don't know, like, are people still... Are they still, like, when you're talking to certain men, are they still giving you these kind of rhetorics back? Because I just kind of think that any association should be like a form. And if it's not, and if they are saying it, because like I said, I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I know that this is the day and age where, shame is not shame anymore. You know, so people
No.
will still come back without shame. So I don't know if this is still going on, but that's what I'm asking.
No, I think it still goes on definitely, but the problem is with that whole movement is because all the profits of the people are they don't unite with other people who have the same philosophies, right? So they all war each other. They all war each other, and they're not given solutions to this so-called problem. They're profiting off the problem. So
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
it doesn't, and this is why Black Betterment is so the way it is. That this show itself is like, this show could be very fallacious, very name calling, troll centric, whatever, and it will have so much more people who tap in for the blood. But the problem is, if you have to play chess, that doesn't last long. So you're gonna get hyped, but then it's gonna close down and create a kind of environment where you can't really do much.
Exactly.
That's your thing. So
it turns toxic. They turn on each other. Yeah.
But what you can learn from them is, at a certain point, they all run cold in their distaste for women, as in they were so angry that they couldn't have women for whatever reason, that they got together, and all the talking points were consistent. You see, so people had to actually listen to talking points and just reject them. But the fact is, there was a one tone of voice, and I think that's every movement. You need that one tone of voice. You need to be, what is it? What is the problem? You see. And I think with the Black community, the truth is, it's correct. White supremacy is the problem. So when you go back in the day, the getting anyone on cold to go against white supremacy is the issue, right? And I think now we can keep white supremacy there and go, okay, what is it that white supremacy has done to the Black community? And I think the double dilemma is that it's made Black people collectively inadequate, but also it's demonstrated that white supremacy means Black people have no friends, right? This is slightly segueing, but they're not. This word woke is what the YouTube community and the nerd community and these kind of people, they have an active campaign where they want the word woke to be toxic. They want it like, when someone says something woke, they want it to be like, don't touch it with a barge pole, whatever, right? And that is an active thing, and they do this because they're trying to control how Hollywood and these kind of things do their movies. Or they don't want to have gay agenda, race swapping kind of stuff. This is what they've put this, like, let us demonize the word woke. So when you say woke, we know that this is a problematic thing and it means this stuff. And they do it as a campaign, and it's quite successfully working. That's why now in the mainstream, or at least in top, very popular YouTube channels and certain things, and even like reporters and stuff, they demonize woke. So this woke agenda, you see. So it was a campaign. Like, how can we connect all this behavior to this concept of woke and then demonize it and say, you want to have a man go in the toilet who's a woman, woke. You see. And so that's what they would do. That, but it was actively done as a campaign. They did it, and it's quite successful.
So you're saying in Dan's same guides is the campaign for the Black Love campaign.
Say again.
So, and you're saying that to say that that's the kind of, when you're saying that that's what if that's how the Black community can move in one.
Yes.
So we have campaign.
Yeah, any campaign. We have a certain agenda, and then either something needs to be positive, highlighted, or negative, right? So for me personally, I think highlighting that Black people are at the bottom is important, right? I think because what happens is, when we have our radical solutions, which Black people will shoot down, is we now have a purpose. Like, we're allowed to do this because we're at the bottom. And we're allowed to do this because historically nobody likes Black people. So that concept of being at the bottom and having no allies is important. Like because it then justifies why. So when the brother came on and he was talking about Israel, the reason why Israel is important to the Jews is because they can say, you know what? Everywhere we go, people try to kill us. Everywhere we go. So let's go to a place where we'll be the only ones there and no one can kill us. You see, so that they had the mantra, never forget. So every time someone tried to say that it's wrong, go, never forget. People try to kill us in the oven, never forget. So Black people can have a similar thing where it's like, well, we're doing these actions because we're collectively inadequate, you see, and we collectively have no friends. And And so when we're saying we want black men to marry black women as part of community building, yes, we want our rich celebrities to marry rich other black women, make them rich, and we want them and the poor, whatever, to work together to build institutions. And by us not marrying each other, it's making it's making us remain collectively inadequate. So now there's a purpose rather than I just don't like people. Oh, I want to do this. It's like, oh, I get it. They've recognized that nobody likes them, and they recognize that they're actually at the bottom of the league. They recognize that, and they're actually getting organized to change it. That's more that then minimizes the kickback, because it's like, oh, everyone knows if people don't like you, and you're struggling, the natural thing that people do, not black people, natural that other people do, is fix themselves. And that's why we can see the videos like this where people have their own codes like this.
Asian, black people, right?
Yeah, like black people.
Which country? Just in general?
Like rappers, like that. Type.
So you're like a fan of like hip hop and rap culture?
Yeah.
Have you dated a black guy before?
No.
But you want to, right?
No. I just feel like they're good looking, but I won't actually like date them.
So in the context of black people, it's like, well, you can say that Europeans have made white women very good looking in the sense of they're on all the magazines and they've got all the jewelry on or whatever it is, right? But because black people are collectively inadequate and collectively have no friends, we're going to marry ourselves to fix ourselves so we can do the same thing. We can make magazines and videos so our women is the most alluring, our women is the most seen, rather than just jump ship, you see? So, there's a motivation.
I mean, I agree with you, I agree with you, especially with like the inadequate and everything else. I just think, and I agree with the black love, obviously. I'm just trying to think in regards to us just talking about it and reasoning about the strategy and the way we go about marketing it and stuff. And I just kind of think that with the other campaigns that you've highlighted, like, for example, like the men going your own way kind of things and the Jewish kind of sentiment, the thing that kind of, like you said, they all kind of agreed, but especially with like the most recent one where certain black men have bought into, they all collectively had a problem in their own lives. We're pretty certain, we're pretty safe to say that, right? They weren't very happy men.
Yeah.
And I think the easier option, as the famous quote, as Malcolm X says, is the black woman to blame. The woman was to blame. That's very Western, and I think certain black men adopted it because we know the Western man didn't like his women, never. So they've adopted this. So that's where you get that pull and that necessity, because it's not my fault, it's their fault. So it kind of alleviates them from any kind of self.
Question.
One second, bro. It kind of leaves themselves from any self kind of responsibility, and it's easier to blame them. And I just kind of think you're not within that group, you're not having to prove or convince anyone within that group, right? They all need to understand that notion that the woman is the problem needs to be fact for them, for their gratification, to be able to sit into a room with a bunch of like-minded people and say this. And this can be the same thing for so many other problems within society, right? Where people find themselves in these groups that kind of justifies their kind of lower vibrational feelings. So therefore it's not my fault, actually, it's whatever we chose the bad guy to be. You know what I mean? Enter whoever you will, or whatever it is, right? And I think with black love, with the black current community in the West, it's not as easy, right? That kind of collectiveness. Now you're going to get it with like-minded people. I think that campaign will work, right? Because the like-minded people understand the need. It makes sense to them. It's not that kind of campaign can survive in a place where you don't have to convince. Does that make sense, bro? So I think that for like-mindedness, that campaign is great, but that campaign needs another strategy for those who are not as like-minded. And just the last point, because I know that Brother Musa wanted to come in, when you was talking about the Jewish aspect as well, I was kind of thinking, like, you're right. But while they were saying that to their own people, we know now when we look back in history that they had a lot of input in regards to our enslavement, in regards to insurance and actually profiting from it, while telling us now that, you know, they were our supporters. And it's ironic that people who profited of seeing people enslaved told their own people never forget, while watching our people being told to forget. So they understood real important and real quick to understand, okay, this happened to us. And by the time all of this tragedy happened to them, they still had time to somehow nourish themselves, and the education weren't affected because they were still supposed to be able to prosecute people who were still alive who done the problem to them. That's not the same as us. There's a long, like, you know, there was a big interruption there for us to be able to do that. And while they do that, they saw that. They were present for that. And they saw, and they were the teachers and all the people in society that said to them, let's just forget about that. Like you said, while telling their own. So I think that those aspects that you said are key to why I'm saying what I'm saying in regards to the campaign, and remembering that with us is a bit more tricky because with Black love, unfortunately, with our own people, it's a kind of, you have to sell it to them if you're going to the people that don't understand it. Do you understand what I'm saying, bro?
Yes, definitely, and that's why good analysis. This is. I think Musa wanted to jump in.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But do you want to? You still there, Musa?
Yeah. In order to get more of a result or to hit home, not that I agree with everything he says here, but he definitely he's definitely provocative and provoking. Do we need to take a stronger stance like an Andrew Tate and just say we're raging against the machine?
Well, yeah. Just Americans are lost. Stay out of the business. But Brother Foster, I don't know where you're based. I know that there's a lot of brothers on the internet who do work and people disagree with. But we want to be very careful when we compare people to the KKK, and I think the whole FBA thing is they push it as a lineage, not necessarily a group. But there's a lot of people who do unsynchronized behavioral patterns. But I think we want to be very careful when we start using analogies of and one thing I would say with Black people, whenever you have people you disagree with, there's always a domino effect where there's a different ethnic group or a different person, different land, and there's a behavior pattern that we don't agree with, or you might not agree with. And what we can contribute to that, or we can actually try to find a solution. And that's the challenge that I think we want to push to rather than always be dismissive. And one of the easiest things we can do in the community, and you'll see it anyway amongst the speaker school community or the international community, whatever, where as soon as people disagree, name calling, us against them, and that kind of stuff, right? And then what happens, you have people who are doing community work, and a big part of their segment is to diss other people, and then those other people diss back, and before you know it, the small amount of people who are doing some kind of work in some kind of capacity are at war with each other. And I'm saying that what we want to do is let's try to find a solution from that happening, right? You'll realize someone like myself is at war with nobody because I try to adopt this concept, right? Even though some people are probably worthy of war, right? The easiest thing is for Black people to disagree with other Black people and name call and compare to, you know, enemies of Black people, this kind of stuff. We shouldn't do that. We try to understand where people come from and be solution based. It's the hardest thing because we're collectively inadequate. But in order for us to be adequate, that's one thing you have to do, right? So be careful of the name calling and try to actually find solutions. If a community group is doing something we're not best pleased with, how do we network with them? How do we try to constructively find solutions? It's hard because we're driven by emotions and we've been trained to do that. Remember, the hatred we have for other Black people will always be more stronger than the hatred we have for non-Black people because we've been trained to do that. See, like I said, we've been definitely trained to not have any self-love and to be heavily critical over Black people. So we want to try to find solutions and how not to name call this kind of stuff, right? Big up Brother Musa for the comments, and also big up Empress Kush as well. Yeah. So what's it?
I've had a lot of brothers from America who have been definitely on the code, you know, of recent, so they're not all bad.
No,
and I think the internet kind of like is really starting to stereotype us now. You know, like it's getting bad. You know,
yeah.
Like so, we kind of just got to get. Although there are, like you said, those people who have certain mindset, like you said, you just got to tackle it a certain way. But we can't just chuck the baby out with the bathwater. You know.
No. Yeah, we can't.
I don't think. What you say?
But any feedback with what I said? Do we need to take a more radical stance, like an Andrew Tate?
You know, I was. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm definitely for a militant stance. I'm definitely all for that. I'm definitely for a sister, and I'll be there to support. But it's like, do you know what it is, bro? I was I was thinking about your comment that you said a few weeks ago to me about the difference of being in a coma and being in a deep sleep, and how over here they're in a deep sleep. Do you remember that? Because I was like, I just don't get. So
I remember. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So in knowing that over here we're more in a deeper sleep, whereas we're more westernized, and do you know what I mean? I just don't see it anymore. I know it sounds. I know it sounds. I just think the way it's going to show up. Okay. I don't see it in that form, because Britain right now is just, we're not even, I mean, when things like Diana Abbott can happen, for example, bro, and the man still doesn't have to apologize, a black man standing up militantly will be probably, I give him 2 weeks max. Do you know what I mean? Before something happens to him, or the whole things get shut down, or they'll be on him. Like, and I don't think there'll be enough people around him to support him, unless, because we are a reactionary people, unfortunately, if something God for, like something I don't even want to say happens to us, it will have to take something like that to happen in our country for a person who has to be ready. I mean, he has to be training right now and ready, because we know there's going to be another instance, and he's going to have to be ready to just jump on it as soon as it happens, for all of us to galvanize him. But for it to just, if he to just come next week, Tuesday, and just say, look, I've got a plan. I love you people. I want to move in a militant way. I've got a black wife. I've got my own bit of funding. I'm not even asking you for no money. I've got a brilliant plan. I'm telling you, he could have everything. People will still have a problem. That's just the way I see it. Like, unfortunately, like, I think the militant leader now, we have to move. It's not an individual, it's a collective, because they will shoot out one person. And the new militant leaders, they're going to move in a group, and they're going to have to move in silence, and it's going to have to be a slow and steady build. But the militants in it is going to be how they don't waver. You know, you don't see that, oh, look, this one's fallen out, or this one now is already with this woman outside the community. This one now is harassing all the women in the community and being a diddy in the community. Like, it has to be clean, while steady building, where we're seeing that they're doing something. They've built it up. Institutions, they've built it up, things for the kids that are doing the knife crime. Like, we're seeing little things builded, and we ain't seen anything that they've flopped on. Like, that's how I see it. But like a militant old school leader that would like to see, like a Malcolm X, I just don't see it.
1 second, family. So, brother Foster, next week when you come on, we'll tackle the biracial bonding thing. We've got a little section for you. I think we've got it somewhere. Where is it? So I can find it. So we'll tackle the biracial bonding concept. How do people with one black parent feel about black betterment, and can they be dedicated to the betterment of black people? And also we can then tackle about the diaspora rules, because it's essentially diaspora. It's diaspora rules, and it contributes to like double consciousness as well. So we can tackle and how to handle ethnic groups in the diaspora who might say things that we don't think is best pleasing. We can tackle next week. And also, we can also try to follow. One of the hardest things we can do is listen to what someone's saying. Is in when people have complaints, you start the domino effect. Like, okay, so they're saying something horrible to me because they're saying that we're doing something horrible to them. Is that whoever them is that true? If that is true, how can we assure them that that's not true, or how we can fix that before we go, I hate them, they're bad, they're this, whatever. We go, okay, they're complaining about something we're doing, and they're responding to that complaint by saying these harsh words. Okay, let's go revisit what they're saying. How are we doing it? Is the complaints true in some format? And one newsflash, or whatever, the best solution I always say is, regardless of where a person's from or where they're based, you have glad and sad. You see, you have glad black people and sad black people. And we only really network with the glad black people. The sad black people are always going to do sad behavior patterns, you see. But if we go and we start talking people in general, then it contributes to the diaspora wars. And from just a chess playing standpoint, it never works. And it's never good. No, I talk to them all the time. When you say them, I talk to, once again, I talk to people from who identify as ADOS, Foundation of Black Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, Moorish Moorish Americans, just Moorish people, Black Hebrew Israelites, no, Hebrew Israelites, only Black Hebrew Israelites, of the many factions. I've spoken to many from the States and many who have their representation in the UK. I'm well versed in talking to Pan-Africans and Aboriginals and all the different variants that black people come up with when they're trying to find solutions. It's the approach, you see. And the best thing to do is remember that black people are collectively.
Did you mention the Hebrew?
I did.
Okay. Just making sure.
I've spoken to them, their UK variants and their American variants. And what I'm saying is, in order for you to get somewhere, you never want to lead in like a response to words you dislike, or you want to actually go, what are they saying, and can solutions be met? Can we correlate in some kind of concepts, right? And if not, then we can separate and try to minimize any kind of damage. But generally, name calling and saying this and generalizing, it contributes to the diaspora wars, and it doesn't work. Like I said, that's why I invite every brother and sister to play chess. If you start playing chess and not Connect 4, then you can actually start seeing, paths, and you can start revisiting history to go, this happened 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and how did it end there? Oh, the same. Okay, cool, let's change that then. And I'm saying that listen to the complaints of diaspora and try to find solutions rather than respond to fire with fire. But anyway, so by all means, I could be wrong, Robert. So next week, Bro Foster, when you get some rest, next week come on and you can jump in to discuss diaspora wars as well as black biracial bonding. There you go. And we want to give thanks to brother
Mesa.
Say again, sister.
I just wanted to see if he had a response to my answer or not, because I know he wanted to see us.
Go ahead, brother Mesa.
Which one? The answer which that you gave for
your question? Yeah, the answer to your question. Did it answer?
Okay.
Because I know you wanted an answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Remind me what did you the last thing you said?
Oh, it's quite a long bro. I was just basically saying that we need to. Well, I can see a leader, but not in the sense.
Yes, got you. With the militancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on. I think that's the next. That's the next phase of this thing. Yeah. Sorry, Raven, if I sound a bit, but I can't do it no more, man. This foot dragging thing is a bit. It's long, man. It's either man's gonna have to step it up to that type of direction, or.
So what does that type of direction looks to you then? What would you like
that? Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what it means. What it looks like. Yeah. It means like having a standing army. It means very, very leaning towards militaristic option for survival and self-defense. It means being paranoid, like Jewish people living in the Middle East. Like they're the only people that are on that vibration, and they're surrounded by their enemies. Unless we adopt that type of stance, we're just wasting our time. In my opinion, we're wasting our time.
Do me a favor, yeah. I want you to picture 50 men that you know. Yeah, so that could be 50 men that you know are men now, people you probably have gone to school with, people that you know, friends of friends, whatever. How many of them do you think they've got the stomach to do that for a month, 6 months, a generation?
Probably 1%.
But you know, I'm definitely a person that said that you don't need for the initial start. You don't need many, you know, especially with us, with one stuff, with not the majority of our people. Never, every force never started with the majority of our people. So that you know,
You'd have to entice. You have to entice a black militant man with a good looking black woman. If all the black women say, you know what, fuck it, we're on it, innit? And they're the prize. I think the black man, you might win him. You might just start to think like, you know what, I might stand a chance.
You know,
The black women encourage it.
You know, a few years ago, let me see if I can find it. Spike Lee did a movie, and there was this whole talk around the culture of saying if black women just, do you know what I'm talking about, Brother Raven? It was like was it Chirac?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was called Chirac, right? And it's very similar to what you're saying, bro, right? At one point, the talking point was like, basically, if black women just said, no, you know what, until you fix up, the whole thing would be sorted. And he did it. There was like a scene where there was like a militant scene where the brothers had to like kind of step up because they wanted to like do it for the women and just do it for the better culture and things like that. So that kind of made me smile, because that is something that has been spoken about back in the day within the culture, about you know, the power of the woman, the good black woman, let's just say. So, you know, it just makes me laugh hearing you say that. Yeah.
There you go, family. We've hit that 12 o'clock mark, so we're gonna call it there. But we want to give thanks to Empress Kush and Brother Musa for jumping on. Thank you, Black Brother, to you two brothers, sister. Sorry.
Black Betterment.
Black Betterment.
So join in next week, family, where Brother Foster will break down his perspective of people with one black parent. He might tackle diasporas. He might not. He's not. I don't think his interest, but we'll go through why we mentioned it. Until then, Black Betterment to all, and to all Black Betterment. You have a good time. See ya.